South Korean protesters joined by North Korean defectors in Seoul on Tuesday, urging the president to address the North's human rights record in his Vietnam summit with Kim Jong Un. Joining us to discuss that and more, and all the biggest issues that we think will be on the table, Fox News contributors Leslie Marshall and Morgan Ortagus. Great to have you both with us.
Hi, Shannon. Thanks, Shannon. Good to be here.
All right, Morgan, I want to start with you on that. Politico has a headline saying Trump's blind spot on North Korea could sink a deal. It says President Donald Trump has banked his North Korea policy on selling Kim Jong Un on a future of prosperity and riches. But legislation Trump signed bars companies from investing in the country because of its abysmal record on human rights, an issue the president has given scant attention in his talks with Pyongyang, leading folks to ask, is this the time and place for that?
Well, it's always the time and place to bring up human rights. Absolutely, Shannon. And you know, I don't know where Politico gets that headline from because, you know, the president has not yet met with him. I think by the time we all wake up in the morning, they will be having that dinner. But I think human rights should be at the front of the table always. But you have to ask yourself, how do we get there? I think that there's a couple things that will likely get put on the table tomorrow that actually were put in the table back in the 90s. So there may be the establishment of liaison offices. That's been talked about before, but never fully happened. They may also talk potentially about not necessarily loosening sanctions, but opening up for the North and South to do economic deals together. And so I think that the point that the administration is trying to make is if you care about human rights, you're going to have to open up North Korea if they come to the table with a lot of caveats here. You're going to have to open North Korea up economically in order for their people to see what the rest of the world lives like. You know, and so that's sort of, I think, the argument that they would make from a human rights perspective.
Okay, and as we look ahead to this, there's some who aren't even giving the president a chance to make some headway here. TheAmericanThinker.com, there's a blog. The headline says, Dems and their media have decided Hanoi summit will be a disaster in advance. If you believe the many media reports leading up to the meeting in Hanoi, the United States has already lost and will get from the meeting either nothing or worse than nothing, offering unreciprocated concessions to the Norks, the North Koreans. That's because Trump is always wrong. No matter what happens here, Leslie, is he going to get some credit?
He'll get credit if he gets something done. This is the art of the deal, man, and as he always touts. The problem is the first meeting, as we know, became a photo op and a boost for him in his approval ratings. And I fear, not because I'm a Democrat and anything Trump does is wrong, that will be the same this time around. And the reason is, like Dan Coates said to Congress, Kim Jong Un needs to have WMDs to ensure his power and his safety. It's a security blanket for him. And the president, our Secretary of State, have already pulled back from discussion of full denuclearization, which is what this has to be. We are really tough with Maduro in Venezuela, but with North Korea, it's an entirely different game with this dictator, and we have to ask ourselves why. And speaking of being tough with this dictator, let's talk about being tough with human rights. The president has made it harder for NGOs to get assistance to those victims of human rights, and that's something he could, with his love affair with Kim Jong Un, pave the way for to talk about without saying how it would benefit economically, just playing to the ego of Kim Jong Un.
Can I answer that, Shannon? The reason why it's different is because North Korea has nuclear weapons and are actively working on the capability to hit the United States. Venezuela does not have that, and so it's an entirely different calculation whenever you could literally enter into a nuclear war with another country.